I have the privilege and honor to speak about Harav Eitam Henkin. Harav Eitam Henkin was not simply a victim of terror. He was an extraordinary individual whose life represented a rare combination of Torah greatness, intellectual curiosity, humility, and dedication to Am Yisrael. He was born in 1984 into a family deeply rooted in Torah leadership. His father, Harav Yehuda Henkin, was a respected halachic authority, and his mother, Harabanit Chana Henkin, founded Nishmat in Jerusalem, an institution that transformed the landscape of advanced Torah learning for women. He was also the great-grandson of Harav Yosef Eliyahu Henkin, one of the most prominent halachic decisors of the 20th century in America. From his youth, Eitam demonstrated extraordinary abilities. He studied in yeshiva, including Yeshivat Nir of Kiryat Arba, and served in the Golani Brigade in the IDF as part of his commitment to the Jewish people and the State of Israel. At the same time, Eitam pursued academic studies in Jewish history, completing his degree with distinction and continuing towards doctoral research. What made Harav Henkin so unique was his ability to combine worlds that are often separated. He was deeply immersed in the traditional world of Torah learning, while also engaged seriously with historical scholarship. He brought together the precision of a researcher with the sensitivity and responsibility of a true Talmid Chacham. He authored dozens of articles and several important books. His first major book, written when he was only 25 years old, which dealt with complex halachic issues surrounding insects in food and the laws of kashrut. The depth of his analysis and the originality of his conclusions earned praise from the leading Torah scholars of the generation. He later co-authored a major historical work examining the relationship between Rav Kook and the early Zionist movement, uncovering new sources and presenting a thoughtful understanding of Rav Kook's leadership. His work on the laws of Shabbat, titled Esh Tamid, an eternal flame, was published often after his death and became another lasting contribution to the world of Torah. Harav Eitam also served as the editor of Torah journals, helping bring serious scholarship and research to a wider audience. Those who encountered his writings were amazed by his knowledge, his clarity, and his ability to explain complicated ideas with real precision. But perhaps what was most remarkable about Rav Henkin was not only what he knew, it was who he actually was. Those who communicated with him described him as a person of tremendous humility and kindness. Scholars and students would reach out with questions, and he would respond generously, sharing his knowledge without arrogance or distance. Many people who interacted with him assumed that they were speaking with someone much older, only later discovering that this extraordinary scholar was barely in his 30s. Together with his wife, Naama, who was a talented designer, he built a beautiful family. They were raising 4 young children and building a life dedicated to Torah, family, and Jewish people. Then, during Chol HaMoed Sukkot of October 2015, the tragedy struck. While returning home with his family near Beit Furik in the Shomron, terrorists opened fire on their vehicle. Harav Eitam and his wife Naama were murdered in front of their children. By miracle, their 4 children were not physically injured, but they witnessed a tragedy no child should ever have to experience. The pain of that loss was felt throughout the Jewish world, because when a person like Rav Henkin is taken from us, we do not only mourn the person he was, we mourn the Torah he could have continued to teach, the books he could have written, and the influence he could have had on the future generations. Adding another painful chapter to this tragedy, some of the terrorists responsible for murdering Harav Henkin and Naama were later released as part of a prisoner exchange during the past war. For many, this was a deeply painful reminder of the ongoing cost and complexity of the fight Israel continues to face. And yet, Harav Henkin's legacy cannot be taken away. His Torah remains alive in his writings. His values continue through his children and through all those he inspired. His life teaches us that a person's impact is not measured only by how long they lived, but by the depth of their contribution and their lives that they touched. Harav Henkin's flame continues to burn, an eternal flame of Torah, dedication, courage, and love for the Jewish people. May his memory be a blessing, and may we continue all to build the world that he dedicated his life to strengthening.